Many health coaches come to the world of health coaching after doing some other wellness practice like massage or aesthetics. And then they struggle with how do you integrate it into a practice that delivers excellent results. And so our guest today, Melissa Raffone, comes from 20 plus years as an esthetician who helps people with their skin, but then was awakened to the world of health coaching to help her clients more deeply and holistically. And we're going to talk about how did she transition over? What does she continue to do in person? And what has she added? We're going to talk all about that and her journey. Lots of great take home messages for all of you. So, welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Dr. Shaunna.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about how you came to the world of health coaching. What were you doing before? Tell us, like, what had you get interested in health in the first place, in aesthetics? Why did you care about that? What led you to that? And then we'll go what you led you to health coaching, and then how did we wrestle with these two worlds and bring them into one world that works really well for you?
So funny that you asked those questions. I really didn't know. After college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of in flux. I took a little adult education
Hmm.
class on makeup. It was like finding your color,
Yes.
your fall, winter, summer, spring, or anything like that. And I said to myself, I don't want to put on makeup on somebody who has skin issues. I want to be able to help them clear their skin and have flawless skin. That way I don't have to cover up anything or
Yeah.
a lot, right? So that led me to aesthetic school back in 2003, 2004. And I went to school for aesthetics. I did my first 300 hours and then I did an advanced 300 hours. And then I started my journey in aesthetics. And through the years of that, I did makeup and I really loved the aspect of clearing skin, like my gut told me in the beginning. So I learned more about acne. I became an acne expert. And then I have a very inquisitive way about myself. I always want to know more, more, more.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing clients for skin and acne, and I said there were always an underlying, linear cause of it, whether it be hormones or gut health or nutrition or food sensitivities or something like that. And through that, I was having my own issues with gut health and hormones, and I dealt with that my whole life. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start learning more about nutrition. And that's what led me to health coaching and the wanting to know more about nutrition and the whole holistic aspect to health in general.
So I really, so that kind of gives us kind of like a high level overview. And then this was super personal for you. So dive into your own journey with your skin, your gut, all of those things, and why this is so deeply personal for you. And why, I mean, we can all understand why a girl, say in their 20s, is interested in makeup and skin and beauty. Like, we get that, we understand that, but it's much deeper. Your mission here is so much deeper, and it gets really to the heart of why you are so phenomenal at what you do and why you really care and why your clients get such phenomenal results, because that's the difference between you and any old person out there. So tell us a little bit about that journey, and your own personal health journey, and then we'll bring the two together after that.
So I actually had been dealing with stomach issues since I was a kid,
Hmm.
not knowing what I was dealing with.
Hmm.
Then I get into my later teens and 20s, and I'm still dealing with what 20-year-old likes to be bloated or feel yucky after they eat, or, nauseous, or not be able to go out with their friends because they don't feel good, or,
Yeah.
they're tired. Nobody in their 20s, they just want to be free to go out and have fun, go out to eat anything they want.
Hmm.
Then I dealt with that in my 20s, and in my 30s, having kids and still dealing with digestive issues, and then you throw in having kids and hormonal issues and things like that. Um, and then also back up in my 20s dealing with environmental and hormonal acne because of my gut issues. I was working in a restaurant as a waitress, and that really had an effect on my skin and breaking out in my chin and on my cheeks. So at that point, I was an esthetician, and being an esthetician, you can't really have bad skin because who's going to come to you if you have
Yeah.
bad skin, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't really know that digestive issues and hormonal issues, had such an effect until later on. And then in my 30s, I still dealt with it. But then in my 40s, back like in 2023, I really hit rock bottom. I was still dealing with IBS, and then I started dealing with perimenopause issues. And then the stress of marriage and kids, and just I was tired all the time. I was I was on a roller coaster going in circles, and I was trying supplements and green powders and intermittent fasting, and nothing was really sticking. And I just felt like like a volcano and like gonna erupt at any minute.
Mhm.
It was really awful, and I wanted to get off the roller coaster.
All of these things. So it's like 20 years
Yeah.
of dealing with these issues or
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
from some of them from childhood. And
Hmm.
in that time, like trying a lot of things and it just not working, I suppose one would kind of start to think, well, maybe it's just me. Like maybe this is just who I am. Other people have different guts. They don't have that have this issue, and this is just I know people who have just thought that their constipation or their bloating was just who they were, like it
Hmm.
hadn't, that there's nothing that they could do. And when
Like
it
this is the
happens a
way your
lot,
life's gonna be.
yeah, this is the way some people have blonde hair, some people are brunette, and some
Hmm.
have big bellies and some don't. And it's
Hmm.
just the way that it is. And because we're doing the same things, and it is so many different factors. And I would say when we're dealing with the leaves up here, rather than getting to the root. And that was
Yes.
kind of like, it felt like that was like this calling you right from the beginning with looking at, like,
Hmm.
okay, let's help people look and feel their best, so let's put makeup. And I was like, wait a minute, it'd be better if we could get to the root of that, and they had a good canvas underneath with it where we didn't have to cover it up, because that will make things a lot better. So getting there, and then it's like, okay, but then if we just deal with the acne and these things, and that led you into aesthetics and that whole world, but then we got to get to the root of that, because
Hmm.
and then we start to, it's these layers and layers of layers of doing that, and going through all of that trial and error yourself, of looking at, okay, this worked, this didn't work, this worked for someone else but not for me, and so on, and all of those individuals. So like a very challenging journey. Probably like lots of people will go to all sorts of doctors, and like just like it's nothing is working. And so at this time, are you working, do you have your own business now at this same time when you're dealing with these gut issues? Like your skin's kind of better, but you're still dealing with gut issues. Is that the order of things?
So in my 20s, when I got out of aesthetic school, I worked in some spas, and I t actually taught aesthetics. So I was still dealing with that at that time. In my 30s, when I had kids, I kind of took a break for a little while, and then I went back to working at a med spa and again teaching. And then I started my own makeup business. So I was still dealing with all these things, trying to figure out where I fit in the aesthetics world and the beauty world. And I always knew, even when I got out of school, that I wanted my own business, and that was my ultimate goal. So,
But you didn't have a track record yet because you were dealing with it yourself first. So you kind of stayed in your lane. I can help do makeup for your wedding and that, because I know I can do that, but
mhm.
can't help before. So what was the turning point that had you solve these issues for yourself? So all of these things didn't work. When did you kind of crack the code? And I know of you. And I know like, we can all see you've got beautiful glowing skin. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, you might not know, but she's beautiful. And you're like, there's no way she can be that age because she looks much younger. And her company is Timeless Beauty Health Coaching. So that she's an example. She walks her talk. But what was the thing? What was the thing that cracked that open for you and changed things?
So I was so interested in learning about nutrition myself that I decided to do some research about getting a certificate in health coaching and nutrition, whether it be going back to college, getting a nutrition degree, health coaching, functional medicine. I was all over the board at first. And then I said, I found IIN and I
Hmm.
just felt right at home at IAN. And I decided to go through the year long because you can do it in 6 months or you can do it in a year. And I said, I'm not going to rush through it. That's not the type of person I am.
Yes.
I'm going to do it for a year. And IAN was the most eye-opening program I had ever been. And I went to college, I did aesthetic school, But IAN, the speakers, Joshua, the gentleman who started the IAN program,
Yes.
just amazing. I felt right at home and I knew that that was the program for me. And through my year of going to IAN and doing the online modules and everything, I healed myself through that. And they say that you could go through IAN on your journey to heal yourself, or you can do it for a business. There's no pressure either way.
Hmm.
So that was amazing also.
Yeah.
So
It
that's what really led me on my health journey was finding IAN and healing myself through all the amazing teachers and people in that program.
Awesome. And we hear that all the time. I love
Mhm.
IIN. I always say I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for IIN. I'm
Oh God,
quite
no.
certain.
Yep.
And they'll say your first client is really you. You are
Yes.
your first client as you walk through and you clean up your own act so that
Hmm.
you can help another person. And so many people have just had their eyes, opened in that order. That really works extremely well. So I love that story, and we love IN. I send people there all the time who are coming
Hmm.
across, and they're like, I don't know about health coaching, and I'm like, you gotta go check them out. So there's
Yes.
many great schools, but that's the one that I went to that you went to,
Hmm.
and definitely they're the real deal. And so okay, so then you emerge from IIN. Your
Yes.
skin is better. You've opened your mind to gut health and all of the impact that that has and how we're all connected, and you've got this holistic approach. So now you have your aesthetics practice at this point. Are you helping people with skin treatments at this point or not yet?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've had my own business, my own treatment room, which is behind me, for I think about 3 or 4 years. I've been helping people
Yeah.
clear their skin and, relax and find their peace and all those great things that estheticians do.
Yes.
Um, and now I'm at a point where I have this great health coaching certificate and I
Yes.
have my pre-existing aesthetic business. And I said, how do I marry them together?
Yes.
And that's when I needed help. I sat on it for a little while. I graduated in March. I think in August I found you,
Hmm.
and I hopped on that bandwagon really quick
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I really wanted to put everything I learned into a place where it was consistent, concise, and I had a signature program for people to follow. So that was so important to me.
Yeah, because we have each of us has unique. It's your business can be bio individual if you like as well to use a term
Yes.
from IIN where it's very
Yes.
unique. Your life experience, your professional personal experience has led you to have a unique set of skills, expertise, knowledge database that you will. And so now, how can we repurpose that skill set into a way that can serve your clients at a higher level? I talk about carving out your purpose driven expert niche, those areas that light you up, that you would just do even if they didn't pay you, and then those things that you're really good at, that you have a track record in. And the intersection is that sweet spot, your purpose-driven expert niche. And so
Yes.
then, okay, so then we have that, we carve that out, and that is easier said than done. And so, like, you
Hmm.
might have big buckets of like, I'm helping people with skin, but I can help people with all sorts of skin. And then, but I don't want to just help their skin, I want to help their gut. And like, how do I, it feels like a big, like, knot that, that we can't solve.
Yeah.
And we're tugging on it, and it just kind of gets to be tangled even further. And so that's where, like at the Health Professional Academy, where what we do is that's where we look in under the hood, if you will, at where are your, what do you have? What are your talents? What are your unique aspects? And then how
Hmm.
can we package that in a way that extracts your unique genius, because we know that you're always the world's leading expert in being you. No one can
Hmm.
do you better than you. And how can we package that into a signature program, price it with confidence so that you can, and have a great structure that will lead to excellent, transformative, repeatable results?
Yes.
Then we're in business. And then marry that with a business plan so that you're working smarter, not harder. And so in your unique scenario, you had you had an existing practice
Hmm.
already. So how
Hmm.
can we leverage that to become a practice that you can use? And there are options. Just so if you're in this scenario here, and you're like, well, I guess two things. One, if you are like, I want to create a significant, like a six-figure health coaching practice, like a real income, a real business, create real impact. I'm at that level. I'm going to share with you a link to my book, Six Figure Health Coach. We'll put a link in the bottom description here so you can get that book for free. And that will go through some ideas as well of how you can package it. But this has been a unique emerging, I'm going to call it a problem or challenge, when people already have this. So we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, as they say. We want to repurpose it. And so there's, in just big, broad categories, a few ways we can do it. We can use your existing business as a lead magnet. If you're
Hmm.
already getting foot traffic in there, then we can use that as a way to introduce people to a conversation, and then have them join your health coaching practice that is aligned, if it makes sense, that is aligned for them, and that can be virtual. Or you can blend it into one offering where it includes in person and virtual, so that you can deal with sort of physical treatment things that you might have to do in person, that you have the talent and the qualifications for, but then dive deeper into, say, mindset or nutrition or other things that you would not normally be able to do in between visits, and so on. So tell people a little bit. So that's what we did with your business, Melissa.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
because we're like here, and like, how do I get them from in the clinic over into my health coaching practice? So tell us a little bit about that journey and carving out your niche, and how you serve your clients and who you help and are passionate about helping now.
So it's really important that you say carving out a niche, because even in the beauty industry, there's estheticians, you're a dime a dozen.
Hmm.
Really.
Hmm.
So back 6 years ago, when I decided to really focus on acne, it was to, you know, stand out from the crowd.
Hmm.
And that's what really grew my business. So going into health coaching and marrying those two together was a no-brainer for me.
Hmm.
No-brainer.
Hmm.
And I was always helping women from in their teens to their 40s can have acne. So that's really my ideal client.
Yes.
And, women that are going off birth control, their hormones are changing, they were on spironolactone, they tried Accutane, nothing worked. I'm always the last resort.
Hmm.
Always.
Hmm.
They've tried dermatologists, which are great. We all have our purpose in life,
Yeah.
right? And we all have our need. Um, they've tried dermatologists, naturopaths, this, that, and then I'm their last. It
Hmm.
never fails, Dr. Shaunna.
Yes.
And they come to me, and I really sit down and talk to them about what their journey has been.
Hmm.
I make them feel heard, because they're really dermatologists. They don't have time, and there's not
Hmm.
no fault, right? No
Yeah.
fault. They don't have time to sit down for an hour and talk to their patients, right?
Hmm.
So my job, my love, is to really get to know them and hone in on who they are and where they've been so I can help them through their journey into a more successful way of dealing with their acne and or gut issues or hormonal issues. So that's really my love for everything. I should have been a private investigator or something because I loved figure things out that
Yeah.
other people haven't yet.
So we share that. And I think most, like great health coaches will share that, just like inquisitive mind, curious
Hmm.
about getting to the root of it, and
Yeah.
really be excellent diagnosticians. So, as a medical doctor of 25 years, the type of doctor I was a diagnostic radiologist, like really getting in there and looking at what is the problem, what's going on here,
Hmm.
and so using that same strategy for health coaching. And so much like a private investigator, where you would
Yeah.
be like digging in there,
I need to
getting to
know.
the root cause. We want to know what's going on, because when we just slap a band-aid on it, we know that band-aid solution is not going to last. And
Yes.
so that's why you can get those excellent transformative results. And you can think outside the box. Your business, health coaches, if you're listening to this, your practice does not need to look like anybody else's,
No.
because you got some strengths and you know some things that others don't, and you have opportunities like others don't. So Melissa has a practice already set up. People know about her. So when I look at people, when people come to me and they're sharing where they're at with their business, I look at what do we already have in place that's working, and what are some of the raw materials, because everybody has so much potential. And so when I heard your story and I'm like, okay, you've got this practice, you got this, we're going to leverage that. If you're married to a surgeon, we're going to leverage that. If you are already well known in, I don't know, bird watching community, I'm going to leverage that. Like if you have something, if you already have a following, we're going to leverage that. But you don't need to, because most of our clients have like none of those things. So you don't need to have any of the things. But the thing that I know, everybody's got something.
Yes.
Everybody's got something, but it's often easier for me to recognize from the outside in, because it stands out, because you have that expertise that others don't have. But it's a blessing and sort of like a challenge to have this existing physical practice.
Yeah.
Sometimes the blessing is you're known, sometimes you have signage, and that the downside is you might have expenses, office expenses to run that. So that's something to
Hmm.
keep in mind. Or might people sometimes know you so much as that other identity, they can't imagine you doing anything
Anything else?
else. And
Yes.
so like if you're like a esthetician, like what do you know about nutrition, right? Like you're not a dietitian. And so so there are unique little aspects. These are totally surmountable, especially when we look at who is your ideal client, what is the problem they have, what's
Yeah.
the dream come true that we're looking for, and what is the best way to get them there. And then when you know that and you show up and you have that confidence, that really works. So if you have a health practice right now and you're like, okay, I don't even know how to blend these two, as I say, there should be a link below. We do these health practice assessments. We do a few each month where we look at your practice, where it's now, and where we can look at those for you. We can customize this for you and see what are some of those things. So tell us a little bit more about this, Melissa, about how do you, when you're working with people, and who are you passionate about helping? Who is it? And then how do you work with them? Is it in person? Is it online? Do they come for treatments? Like, how does that work? Do you sit with them in your office and talk to them? Just give us an example. Now, bear in mind, if you're listening, you do not have to do it this way, but this is what is working for Melissa. And maybe it works for you or some variant, but be good for you. Make it work for your unique circumstances. But tell us a little bit about what your example looks like.
Yeah, so I usually will get a referral from somebody. They'll contact me either through text or Instagram or however they do. And I will set up, well, first I'll talk to them on the phone for about 10-15 minutes and I'll get to know them. And then I will have them come in for a consultation
Mhm.
where I have them fill out some paperwork and I get to know them for about an hour. During that time, I will analyze their skin and I will make recommendations for some topical products.
Mhm.
And then I will set up a Zoom call And then I'll go over into we'll dig a deep dive into their health history. And then we'll kind of make a plan from there. And usually, if they come into my health coaching part of my business, we will meet on Zoom weekly for
Mhm.
about 12 weeks. And then they'll come in monthly during that time, 3 times, and we'll do in-person treatments. And that really has been working really, really well.
And so that's a great example of it's like a hybrid
Hmm.
office. Sometimes people want to leave their brick and mortar practice to create a virtual practice. That's an option. You can do that.
Yes.
Sometimes one of our clients is Claudia in Spain. She blended her health coaching to be in primarily her brick and mortar. So she has a retreat center, and but she was helping people with detox, and that's a longer story for another time. But it
Mhm.
was right in COVID where she was doing her retreat business. She couldn't do her retreat business. Then people were traveling again. So we've just made her in-person practice her health coaching practice. And so she does her health coaching through these retreats so that she's focusing on one aspect. And so in that case, it's more in person heavy and she does it. But the way you have it is more like a hybrid, which is a little bit easier for people to do. But if you really did not like your brick and mortar, or if you were not in charge of your brick and mortar practice and you're an employee and burning out, then you might want to leave completely. And there's ways to do that. So this is a really great example. If you have a existing physical practice and you want to leverage it and use that as a way to generate awareness of what you do. And because you have a physical practice, and because that is one of the ways that you help clients get great results, and that's in your special, unique wheelhouse, then you can blend the two together.
I add a special little perk to my health coaching program. I give them perks and I offer in my program 3 treatments and some product perks too. So that sets me apart from the normal health coach or esthetician or whatever. And I don't want to be like anybody else. I
Right.
want people to come to me because we have a connection or they feel like I can really help them or I've helped one of their family members or something like that. That's what makes my business special, and my clients special and our relationship, of
Yeah.
trust and everything really work well together. And I like that balance that I have and how I've set myself apart.
Yeah, I love that. Literally be good for you, which is, my
Yes.
my motto. And it's
Yeah.
just making it. And tell us a little bit about the results that you're seeing when you're working with people in this way. What kind of results are you getting now? Like, is that an improvement in doing this? Because we don't want to just do it just because so we can say we're also a health coach. There is a purpose to doing this. If you don't need to do it, then don't. But tell us a little bit about how that's added another layer for your clients as well.
Yeah. So I definitely think that I've had clients clear. And then 6 months later, they come back because they broke out again, and we have to change their routine or whatever. But with this health coach program and my knowledge of nutrition, I give them all the tools they need so that if that starts to happen a little bit, they can go back and use those tools. So yes, they can come back to me, but I don't want them to break out again 6 months later, right?
Yeah,
And then have to come back and change the routine. I want them to have the confidence to know that, yes, I can hone in on my nutrition again. I can hone in on my mindset again, my movement, my cleansing, all those things that I put in place for them. And it has really helped. It has
yeah,
really helped. I've had clients call me and tell me that they're doing really well and they're so happy that they went through the program. They're clear, they're not bloated, they're feeling more hormonally balanced. So I really think that it's been a godsend for me and for my clients, knowing that they have that long-term solution in place.
I love that. Yeah, sustainable. And that's what happens
Yes.
when you look at it holistically, all of it, rather than just one piece. Yeah, your clients benefit. And then it's so satisfying. That's, like it feels so good to do that work. So you help people, you've been an esthetician for over 20 years and you're helping people. It started with acne. But what would you say, and people are coming to you for help with their skin, what would you say is the biggest myth that people have when it comes to dealing with their skin and clearing up their skin?
That a TikTok product can save their skin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not going to work. I constantly hear, well, I saw it on TikTok and I wanted to try it. That's great. But having an esthetician or somebody in your corner that's helping and guiding you is so important. And
Yeah,
then you're not spending unneeded money.
yeah,
Like you're putting your money and your dollars where you know it's going to work. And you can spend thousands of dollars on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever and never see the results.
yeah,
But people always go back to that. And
yeah,
I think that and they don't think about their gut. They do think about hormonal imbalances because that's what you hear in social media, right?
yeah.
But they don't really think about their gut and what they're eating and their nutrition. So that's another myth. It's like, I can eat dairy, it's okay, or I can eat gluten and it won't bother. But as soon as I kind of reiterate that to them, like,
Mhm.
we have to change some of the things that you're putting in your body because your gut's not optimally working right now and it's causing things on like your breakouts on your skin or the rash or eczema or whatever, or rosacea even. And when they do listen and they cut out some of those inflammatory foods,
Yeah,
that they're like, oh yeah, I really am seeing a difference.
yeah.
And I say, that's amazing. I'm so glad you were, disciplined enough to do that. And now you're seeing the results.
It's really fun to be able to see people actually get these great results.
Yes.
What's your favorite part about health coaching, or what you've learned from working with your clients, or just anything about like this new way of doing things? What do you like best about it? What have you learned? How have you grown? Anything that you want to share about like health coaching in general?
I think the best part of it is you do get to know people on a deeper level because you're spending
Mm,
a little more time with them. And I feel like that's how you really can help somebody is
mhm,
getting to know them on a deeper level because
mhm.
everybody has some sort of trauma that causes the stress that doesn't help with the gut issues or hormonal issues or anything like that. And I feel like if you don't get to that
Yeah,
layer,
yeah.
that you're skipping over everything and that long-term attainability for clear skin or even a healthy gut or hormone balance is that like emotional mental piece.
Yeah, like I think it's like because information is everywhere, like TikTok or
Yes.
whatever. Like information, you can Google pretty much everything.
Anything.
Transformation is a whole other thing, and I
Hmm.
think it's not just knowing what to do, but it's actually doing it and
Yes.
following through and having the support and accountability and the customization, because we're not all exactly the same, and
Yes.
really getting into the root. And I think that's really one of the blessings of this and why it works so well. And
Mhm.
when you deliver excellent results, the great thing is, and that's why our six-figure health coaches have been able to get there without any paid advertising, because when they deliver excellent results, if that's our focus rather than how much we're charging by the hour, if we're focused on delivering client excellent results, going from caterpillar to butterfly, like that transformation, that breakthrough,
Yes.
then they're going to naturally tell people and they'll tell two friends and so on and so on. And then
Hmm.
you've got some momentum going. It takes a little bit to, you know,
Yes.
get it going and get liftoff, but
Yes.
then it just goes whoosh. And so just having that patience to kind of like build the infrastructure that can scale rather than just like, doing a big launch this Saturday and then Monday we're starting back at zero. Instead, just really like building something that's scalable and sustainable is really key to working smarter, not harder.
And in your health too, building something sustainable and transformational is your key to getting the results you want in your health. So you can absolutely equate your business to your health in your life, right?
Yeah, I love it. One of the things that I love to ask people is because when you're focusing on one thing, let's say acne, it's always that, there's other spin-off benefits that people have. So when you're helping with one person with one thing, then other things improve as well. And I love hearing some of these stories. Do you have one or two stories to share of where you helped somebody, maybe with it was their acne, or maybe they came in with IBS or something, and then as a result, though, then they had these other things that also improved? Any examples to share about, just how it really shows how meaningful and profound this work is?
So I have a recent client who came in and she had just like a year had gotten off birth control and she was on spironolactone and her hormones were kind of going a little crazy and her she didn't really think she had gut issues at all. But we kind of talked things through, and I find a lot of women coming to me now that have just gotten off birth control and their skin is going crazy, their hormones are going crazy.
Mhm.
So in our talks and Zooms, health coaching sessions, she had told me, we went through the first couple modules, and she said to me, I wasn't really trying. But I hopped on the scale and I actually lost weight.
Awesome.
So it
Awesome.
was really good because I think when you're dealing with acne and you're dealing with hormonal changes, you do put on a little weight that you're not expecting to.
Mhm.
And she really wasn't moving as much as she used to. So she kind of started moving a little more. And I don't think when she hopped on that scale, she really thought she was going to lose weight. And we really celebrated that win together. So that was amazing.
As we go through life, we are going to be in social situations and work situations. And when you have certain things, whether it's acne or whether it is IBS, where you need a bathroom all the time, or things like that, that it really undermines your ability to fully show up in life. Like you can't be confident because you don't know where the next bathroom is, or you'll start to shrink your life. Like you just will say no to all of these things, and you're going to miss out on opportunities. You're missing out on life. Any examples of where there was like either a social or a work situation that people were like denying themselves of, but then once you got to the root cause and you improved one thing, that they were then able to like fully show up and enjoy it?
Even for me and my story that I shared, but I also had a client in the clients in the past that have had IBS issues, and you're at a wedding or you're on a work trip and you ate something that you don't normally eat, right? Because you're not in your own environment. And, they started to feel bloated or nauseous, and they get in the car to go home. You're driving home from the wedding or you're driving home from your work trip, and you're on the highway and you got to stop somewhere to go to the bathroom, and you're like, looking for exits and bathrooms and things, and you're like, am I even gonna make it if I get off the exit? It's such an uncomfortable feeling, and it's not anything that you want to have long term, right? But sometimes you're stuck, you're like, is this me forever? But that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
We changed her diet and we improved her detoxification pathways and the way she dealt with stress, and transformation happened gradually, right? It's not overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, and sometimes you gotta take two steps back and then you take five steps forward. But eventually, she's not bloated anymore. She's eating better. She's eating a whole food diet. She knows how to handle her stress. She's working out, at a more, she's working out 3 days a week and sometimes more, walking and things like that. So we really set up a plan for her, and she's doing much, much better.
And that's the power of it. So like on the surface, people think, oh, you help people with zits. It is so much
Right?
more than
Two
that. You
pop
help.
fits.
You're right, right? It's so much more than that. And
Definitely.
when you can show up, put your best face forward, literally, but also can show up with confidence, it's a life-changing experience. It
It is
really
life changing.
is. And they can show up with confidence that leads to promotions, it leads to better relationships. You can
Mhm.
You can fully show up and enjoy life. And I mean, so powerful. So I just want to commend you, Melissa, for the amazing work that you're doing. How can people get in touch with you?
You could visit my website. It's timelessbeautyhealthcoaching.com and on Instagram at Melissa Raffone.
Awesome. I love that. So timelessbeautyhealthcoaching.com. And
Mhm.
then Melissa Raffone is R-A, Melissa's like you would expect. And then Raffone, Raffone.
Yes.
Yes, awesome. It has been such a pleasure. If you are struggling with your health, whether it's skin or issues, she does help people virtually. So, with your skin or your gut health, definitely reach out to her. If you're a health coach and you're struggling with your practice, trying to figure out what's my niche, how do I piece it together, take a look at this next video on how to set up your practice and get it going in a day. The 5 critical pieces that you need if you're starting from scratch. So, with that, have a fantastic week. And of course, be good for you.